My daughter just turned 3. On the morning of her birthday, she woke up with all the excitement that a 3-year-old has. See, at the Williams house, we love birthdays, and we totally overdo it. So the night before, we had gotten the streamers, and we had the balloons, and all that fun stuff. And so when Amelia woke up that morning, she was so excited to see all the decorations. And then came the gifts. We had gotten her a few gifts. The first gift was a digger, because my little girl loves anything that has 4 wheels, and especially construction vehicles. The second gift was a Jack-in-the-Box. And every time Jack popped out of that box, she would squeal. It was as if she had never met him before. So she loved it. The third gift was what I thought was going to be the piece de resistance. It was a big girl bike. It had training wheels. It has glitter, because God knows I love glitter. It had streamers, and it had a bell. She was excited about the bell, and that's about it. She has not sat on that bike yet. I'm hoping at some point it will grow on her before she outgrows it. And then there was the fourth gift, the gag gift, the one we just threw in there. She picked that up and opened it, and her eyes lit up. And then she started screaming, "A toothbrush! It's an electric toothbrush, just like Daddy's, and it has Doc McStuffins on it." Forget the bike, it was all about the toothbrush. And that's yet one of those moments when I have learned that 3-year-olds are puzzling bunch of people. Leadership, much like parenting, requires us to be constantly changing and learning. I knew that my life would change once Amelia came to our lives, but what I underestimated was how it would change me as a leader. I have learned that aside from learning and changing, that the goalposts keep moving, and so I have to step up some more. Oh, and before I forget, disclaimer, I am not saying that my team members are children or that they act like toddlers, because they certainly don't. Toddlers at their very essence are cavemen. And so, they're lovable cavemen, but they're cavemen nonetheless. But the parallel that I have drawn between leadership and parenting is that at the very core of every one of us, we have an innate desire for connection. Everybody wants to be understood. Everybody wants to be empowered. Everybody wants excitement. Everybody wants an electric toothbrush.
Ati, I loved the way that she paralleled parenting with leadership in a way that was funny and tender.
One thing I loved about Ati's talk was her energy, and specifically how she took personal experience from her parenting and applied it to leadership. I think sometimes we don't see that lessons from our personal life applies at work, that lessons from parenting apply to leadership, and I think she did a great job of connecting with all of us with things we've experienced as parents and dealing with our children, and showing us how the lessons we've learned there and the skills we've learned there can be applied to work.
Because sometimes, while you don't necessarily want to call your coworkers children, you approach them the same way. And so I thought that was a really interesting way to think about working as a team and working in an organization and being a leader, both for your child as a parent and being a leader with your coworkers.
I will tell you one of the lessons that Amelia's taught me. Amelia's taught me to always start with why. She is that kid who you have to explain the why before you explain the what. And she has taught me to over-communicate as a result of that. I'll give you an example. If Amelia's up on a tree and she wants to jump, if I say, "Amelia, don't jump," guess what? She will jump. However, if the conversation goes like this, "Amelia, we don't really want to jump off that tree because you might get an ouchie. And we don't want that ouchie, do we?" then she might consider my words. Sometimes she jumps, but at least she will consider what I'm saying. I've learned that with my team, I always have to share that vision. I have to start with why before I explain the what. And if that means that I'm an over-communicator, then so be it. Another thing that Amelia has taught me is that I've had to learn to be overly predictable. This girl loves her routines, she loves her procedures, she likes her processes, and she likes her 5-minute warnings. It makes transition a lot easier. In the same way, I have learned that the people in my team want to have some predictability. They want processes, they want routine, they want procedure, and that has to be communicated. I've also learned to always be prepared. The minute that I see Amelia yawning or the hunger cues, I know we're going into hypoglycemia mode. And so I have learned to carry snacks, encourage the nap, do whatever it takes to avert the crisis. In the same way, as a leader in past times, I may have buried my head in the sand and not fixed whatever issues might be going on in my organization. You know, that email that goes unanswered or that conflict in the office. I have learned that now I am the person who charts the wheel, and that I have to try and avert whatever crisis there is. No talk about a 3-year-old would be complete without a poop story. I'm going to spare you the trouble. I won't talk about poop, but I will talk about potty training. So when we decided to start potty training our daughter, we decided that we were going to use 2 techniques. The first one was the poop dance. Every time she would go to the bathroom and she'd come out, we would be so excited, and we did this dance where we went, I like to poopy poopy, I like to poopy poopy, I like to poopy poopy, I like to poopy. She always looked forward to the dance, so it got her moving a little bit quicker. The second thing that we did is we started installing a poop and bribe. And what we did is we created a reward system for every time she went to the bathroom, and the reward were stickers. Turns out, stickers for a 3-year-old are the ultimate currency. They just induce so much excitement, like toothbrush level excitement. And so she would get really excited every time she got a sticker on her sticker chart. Now, I'll take a sidebar. I have learned also that you have to make sure that the reward is not the only motivator. At some point, we may or may not have given Amelia M&Ms to go to the bathroom. And then we realized she was fake pooping because all she wanted was the M&Ms at the end of it. And so the reward cannot be the only motivation, and it's a fine balance between finding what it is that keeps your team enthusiastic, but not making it all reliant on the reward.
I found myself thinking about my team, that I really do need to give them the why before I give them the what, that I really need to be clear, overly clear about what's happening and why that is.
She took chances up there, which you don't see a lot of people do. They play it safe. They try to make sure that they don't do anything that's too weird. And she showed us the poopy dance that she does with her daughter while she's potty training her daughter. And I thought that took a lot of courage. And it was also tremendously entertaining, and the audience loved it, and I loved it. And it was just cool to see somebody really being themselves up there and not being worried about what everybody else thinks.
After seeing Ati's talk, I really think that I'm going to approach in my professional life with a little bit more patience, like I would with my 2-year-old.
As my child grows, I hope I can grow alongside her. What I invite you as leaders in whatever capacity is to think about how you can fulfill that innate human need of connection. and how you could empower people, how you could cheer them on, how you could make them feel safe, and how you could provide them with their electric toothbrushes. Thank you.